Hi there again, everybody. My name is Jon Mills, and I am the Drunken Nerd Painter. Bob Ross was a legendary man, forged out of steel. I could sit here all day and talk about the greatness of this man, but nothing I could ever say would do him justice. What I will say, though, is that without Bob Ross, there would be no Jon Mills. So today we pay tribute to this great man by ejaculating a beautiful image onto canvas. So real quickly, let me go over what I see. At the top right here, I see a badass motherfucking mountain, right? In the side, fucking sweet ass sun, just rays of light exploding everywhere. In front of that, a water source. Now this water source ain't gonna be clean. It's gonna be a fucking swamp. In that swamp are gonna be some big ass motherfucking trees, right? With some of that stringy shit hanging down on them. In the foreground right here, some land, grass, bushes, shit like that. Our focal point is going to be Bob Ross right here, holding a big ass fucking palette knife sword. A big boob chick laying down next to him, and him battling a fucking swamp hydra. So, I hope you have your beer and your paintbrushes ready. Let's do this shit.
In 2016, Jon Mills, fed up with all of the hate and violence in the world, decided to create a painting method so powerful that anyone, regardless of who they are, what they believe in or whatever disabilities they may have, could use to ejaculate beautiful images onto canvas. To spurt, spew and explode color deep inside the fabric. All it takes is a dream in your heart, some beer, and the willingness to ejaculate exactly what you want to see, without fear of what people will think. Because if you do that, no matter what you paint, it will be beautiful. That is the Drunken Painting Method.
Hi there again, everybody. This is John. So, without Bob Ross, there would be no Drunken Nerd Painter. Let me explain. So, I've loved art my entire life. And being a creative person, I've always wanted to do art. But every time I would try, I would get extremely discouraged because I had no direction. I had no one teaching me. I bought books and stuff like that, how-to books. But it never really helped me a whole lot, or it never got me past a certain point. But when I started watching The Joy of Painting, that's when things really started to kick off, and I started to really enjoy what I was doing. And so that's what I try and stress with the Drunken Painting Method as well. It's a kicking off point. You know, that's the biggest thing that you can do in terms of becoming an artist, is you got to start somewhere. And once you start to get comfortable with what you're doing, it takes some learning. But once you start to get comfortable with what you're doing, man, you'll be fucking squirting and ejaculating all over the place. And you'll be ejaculating your heart's desire. So, like I said, this is a tribute to Bob Ross. You know, we're doing the mountains, the swamp hydra, the big boob chick, all that good stuff. Right here, we're just ejaculating the fucking sun into the sky. And you're going to see in a minute, I'm putting a ring of yellow around the side, and then I'm going to fucking start squirting that shit out with the tiny fan brush, making like rays and shit. Now, half of this sun will get covered up later on, but this part that's poking out the side of the mountain is going to look fucking sweet. Just ejaculating the mountain into the background right now. And right here, we're just putting the highlights on by dipping our palette knife in some white and just fucking squirting them along the edges, giving form and definition to the mountain. A little bit of blue for the fucking shadows. And in just a matter of minutes, we have just fucking squirted a mountain. It's a pretty damn good mountain too, if I have to say so. With the Drunken Painting Method, you can ejaculate anything that your heart desires. If you have a dream in there, fucking squirt it on the canvas. Do the best that you can with the tools that you have and the ability that you have. With the Drunken Painting Method, all you have to do is paint exactly what you want to see. Not what you think people want to see, but what you personally want to see. And as long as you put your entire heart and your entire ball sack into it, no matter what you paint, it's always going to end up beautiful. That's the Drunken Painting Method. Now I love fantasy images, so you see these fucking trees just fucking bending and twisting all over the place. And those look like some fucking Lord of the Rings trees or something to me. I don't know. I like it though. Now I didn't mention this at the beginning, but this is a fucking old ass fence that's in front of the swamp. Sometimes you fucking see this shit while you're painting and you're like, shit, I gotta squirt that in there too. Very nice. Very nice.
Oh, that was good. So I figured it's time to give you a progress report on where we're at with the son of a bitch. We got all the makings of a fucking beautiful image right now. Fucking mountains, skies, swamp, trees. Everything's looking fucking good right now. Now it's time to go in and lay down our focal point, which is that badass motherfucker Bob Ross. The big boob chick laying down next to him, and the fucking swamp hydra who's about to get his ass laid to him. So anyway, I think the paint's looking pretty good right now. Let's lay the hammer down on this son of a bitch.
Alright, so now it's time to put in our badass warrior, which is Bob Ross. So, like always when I'm doing characters, I'm doing the general outline of the body. That shit ain't gotta be fucking perfect. Just get the fucking shape there, and as we go in and squirt color into there, we can start to, you know, form and mold the body. Think of it as a piece of fucking clay. It ain't perfect at first, but when you start pushing in and fucking doing this shit and that shit and whatever, it gets to where you want. It gets to the shape you want. Now right here, I went ahead and started outlining the big boob chick too. And I wanted this fucking chick to be just laying on the ground with her hand on her ass, just sitting there looking all sexy and shit. And I think it turned out pretty damn sweet. And you'll see later on I go in there and modify the boobs. Because they're not exactly the way I want right now, but that's okay. Just ejaculating some color into her body. Rubbing that shit out. And correcting some mistakes by ejaculating some green back onto the ground. Now we go in there with a darker skin tone and we fucking do the cracks and crevices of the underneath boob meat where light's not going to be hitting as much. Because we have our light source in the back, so most of the light's going to be hitting the top part of the boob. So underneath the boob, it's going to be a little bit darker. Now right here, while I still have some color on my my script liner brush, I put the lips in and then I put the nips of the other characters as well. And then the second here, or excuse me, that's the areolas. In the second here, we're going to put the nips in. Giving Bob his beard, and we're just taking the tiny little filbert brush and we're just tapping it against the canvas to get some texture. Same thing with the hair right there. Exploding some lips onto her, nose, eye. And just squirting some fucking hair onto her body. And I just used the same color as Bob's shirt and added some fucking white to it to lighten it up. There's the nips, belly button. And doing a little bit of shadow up underneath the arm that's resting on her ass. Now here's where we put the palette knife sword in. So I made this a little bigger than I was hoping, but I think it still turned out pretty good. And then at the top here, you're going to see me doing a bunch of lines and shit, and that fucking shit didn't turn out too good. It was supposed to be some sparkles in the sun, you know, where the sun rays hitting that shit, but it didn't turn out as good as I want. But that was okay. And I thought it'd be a very nice touch to give him a palette shield. Very nice touch. Now here we put in our fucking swamp hydra. Now I didn't really have anything pinned out for a swamp hydra, so this is just, you know, a general outline, and then we're going to put a little bit of texture in his body. Mostly like red spots where, you know, Bob has been striking him with the fucking palette knife sword. Ejaculating some eyes in there. And then right here we're putting some fucking highlights, and then we're going to go in afterwards with some red and just start fucking squirting and ejaculating that everywhere to give, like, you know, some sword slashes and shit. Like they've totally been in battle. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. Robert Norman Ross was 52 years old when he died. If a man as great as that can fall victim to the reality of what this world is, then any of us can fucking die at any time. So while you're here on this earth, you should probably lay the hammer down on something while you still got the chance. Or at least that's what I think. My name is Jon Mills. I am the Drunken Nerd Painter. Have a nice day.
And in your world, you can do anything that your heart desires. My home is in Fairbanks, Alaska, and I spend a lot of time walking around in the woods and talking to trees and squirrels and little rabbits and stuff. And I look at a lot of nature. And if painting teaches you nothing else, it'll teach you to look at nature with different eyes. It'll teach you to see things that have been there all your life and you've never noticed. And if it does nothing else but make you enjoy nature, it's worthwhile. So look around. Look at what we have. Beauty is everywhere. You only have to look to see it. Okay.